All right, today on Riding with the Pastor, I have Todd Ledford. Todd Ledford is a member of our church. And how long have you been a member?
Probably 3 years.
3 years. All right. Todd, why don't you tell us what you do for a living?
I manage a medical practice for a group of physicians in Dothan who deliver babies.
All right, good. You ready to go?
I am.
Ready to ride?
Yes, sir. Let's ride.
All right. So I have a couple of icebreaker questions, 10 questions. Well, not really questions. I'll make 2 statements. You give me a 1 statement reply. You ready?
Okay. Ready.
Auburn, Alabama.
Alabama.
Coffee, tea.
Coffee.
Drive, fly.
Fly.
Cat, dog.
Dog.
Mountain, beach.
Beach.
Coke, Pepsi.
Coke.
Morning, night.
Morning.
All right. Toilet paper, over, under.
Over.
All right. 2 more. Apple, Android.
Apple.
All right. Last one. Text or talk.
Text.
All right. Good. So gives us a little bit of an idea about some of your likes. And anyway, I've got some more questions. These will be a little more serious, I guess. We've kind of come up with these questions just kind of to suit your personality and your ministry. So first question is kind of a strange question. As a matter of fact, the question is, what's the strangest food that you've ever eaten?
I believe that would be octopus, and not calamari, fried squid, but octopus, the tiny little baby octopus that you get on sushi rolls or sushi. You never had that?
I'm not a big fan of sushi.
It was odd. It was chewy.
Yeah.
It was good.
All right. Second question. Why don't you describe for us what the ideal day for Todd Ledford would look like?
Well, like I said earlier, mornings is my time. I enjoy getting up early, and I just enjoy that quietness and not necessarily watching the sunrise, just kind of getting an early start. But I enjoy waking up early, and maybe if we're at the beach or somewhere that I don't really have an agenda. I always feel like if I'm at home, I have an agenda that needs to be accomplished. So the ideal day is to be away in a place that I can't pursue that agenda or feel like I've got things I got to get done. So it's nice to be away to where I don't have to stick to any structure.
Right. And you get up early every day, right?
Every day, 4 a.m.
And do what?
Well, I get up for about an hour and wait for Faith to wake up, and then we go to the gym at 5, and then get our day started after that.
All right, good. All right, next question. Who would you say has been or had the greatest influence in your life, and why?
That would definitely have to be my grandfather. And why? I think I know he filled a very special void in my life as a father figure. He just always embodied the type of person that I hope to be. And I think it's just his character and his love for people and his faith are just characteristics that I admire.
Okay. Next question is this, and I think it's a really interesting question. If you could have dinner or supper with one person in the Bible other than Jesus or the Apostle Paul, who would it be, and why?
And why? Thinking about that, I think Peter would be someone that I would like to have dinner and a conversation with, primarily because I think the failures that he had, denying Christ those 3 times, is something I think we can all, and I certainly can identify with, whether it's not directly but indirectly with my behavior and my actions, but to find out how he overcame that, not necessarily with being forgiven by Christ, but how he forgave himself and how he was able to overcome that. And I think it's just something that we could all learn from, and I think it's a struggle I've had in my life, is receiving forgiveness from others is oftentimes easier than forgiving ourselves.
Right. Absolutely. All right. What would you say your ministry is? Not necessarily in the church, but your ministry in general, and the church.
I believe it's to carry a message of hope. There was a time in my life where I was, for lack of a better word, hopeless. And I found hope, and found it in Christ, and I think it's my duty to carry that message.
Okay. All right, so with that in mind, what would you say what is the hardest thing you've had to overcome as you try to minister and share hope with other people?
I think part of my character defect is being a people pleaser and wanting to be accepted, and I think when I'm around people that have struggles in their life, sometimes trying to identify with them and not yet take on some of those shortcomings that they may have just to be accepted or for identification, but trying to maintain my character yet still connect them at a level that I know they may need to feel comfortable, to feel accepted themselves. And I think just being able to make sure I set the right boundaries and don't cross those with whether it's language or actions, not giving up who I know I'm supposed to be.
Okay, good answer. What last question? What words of encouragement would you have, or do you have, for Christians who are able to come to church, not at risk, but have not returned to worship services since the COVID pandemic began?
That's an interesting question, because I was just at work before I got here, and one of the girls up front was talking about, and I was actually just a bystander listening, about her lack of attendance at church, primarily because of COVID initially, and now just a lack of being intentional about going, and how she felt God was speaking to her about, you need to be in my house, and how when she went, it was just a presence that she felt that she's not able to feel at home, because it's that where two or three are gathered kind of thing. And I think that's just what we all should strive for. And I think it's when we come together is when we sense unity. And I think we're missing it out, and we're doing ourselves a disservice by not assembling together.
Right. And I think we're very fortunate that we do have the capabilities to live stream, because there are those that aren't able or shouldn't be coming back right now.
Sure.
But there's nothing that can replace the real thing.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right. So we're at the point now where I've got a handful of envelopes right here. I've got 10 envelopes, and each envelope has a question in it. So you're just going to draw at random. Draw an envelope, open it up, pull the question out, read it, and give me an answer. All right, you ready?
So I'm not asking you this question?
No.
Okay.
No, sir. You just random questions.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Lucky number 7.
All right, there's number 7.
All right. Are these the same questions that Andre got?
Yeah, same
Okay.
questions.
What translation of the Bible do you prefer, and why? Gosh, I think I go back and forth. New Living Bible is good, NIV is good, but I always like to kind of pull up the message too, and just kind of get a different perspective. I think it sometimes puts it in a terminology that just may be easier to understand. But I struggle with King James. Always have.
Right.
But we've been having Wednesday night Bible study, and there's a group of guys that have been coming that are of a different faith, but they tote the King James. And it's been interesting to go around the room and then to go to them and let them read the King James, and sometimes it just puts a wow factor on something that the other one seemed a little watered down.
Right. Okay. All right. So your go-to would be what translation again?
NIV.
NIV. Okay. All right, good. Let's do one more question before we end our ride today. Why don't you just draw one? Doesn't matter.
Let's try the bottom of the pack.
All right.
Number 2.
Number 2.
What did Andre get? Number what? Remember?
I don't remember.
What is your favorite vacation destination, and why do you like to go there? Faith and I have always done cruises with the boys, and we enjoy it because once I get on the boat or get there, we get to check out. So we've been to a lot of different places, all tropical. So we enjoy sun and sand. But I think there's just something about cruises that we enjoy because it takes a lot of the decision-making process out of where are you going to eat, where are we going tonight, what do y'all want to do tomorrow. I think it's, like I said earlier, I don't like to have an agenda. So on a cruise, you can kind of get up and do what you want at any given minute.
Do y'all have any cruises planned?
We did. Did. Well, we had one in May, like it was our annual trip, but COVID kind of put a damper on that.
Okay. All right. Well, Todd, I certainly appreciate you riding with the pastor.
Enjoyable.
And I'm glad you did it, and I appreciate it.
Thanks,
and,
sir.
God bless you, and we'll...
He has.
Absolutely.